What's up, Fiend Fam? I can't believe we're over 50 strong as of this recording. Big thanks to Mr. G65 for the shoutout. Link to his channel in the description of this video. Please head over and show him some love if you haven't already subscribed to him. Speaking of which, I'm seeing a lot of you who are viewing these videos aren't subscribed. If you could take a second to subscribe and like and share any of the videos of mine that you watch, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. You'll be sure to see the awesome content that's coming up in the very near future for this channel. I'm not big on analytics or all that, but I want to try and help as many people get into riding as possible. Also, stay tuned to the end of this video for more information about my next Odin Manufacturing Street MX Gloves giveaway. I went for a long ride today and recorded 3 separate motovlogs. Unfortunately, I screwed up the settings on my GoPro and it didn't capture any audio. Oh well. I still have plenty of great footage for other videos, and the warm temps that are supposed to be going on for the rest of this week, hopefully I'll get a chance to try again. I recently watched Great Egret's video on traveling on a small displacement bike. I wanted to make this video for 2 reasons. The first of which being that when I first started getting into motorcycling, Joe's channel was very inspirational to me. I've long dreamed of taking a Route 66 trip, and seeing him do it on a Sportster, one without bags no less, was really cool. He, along with other motovloggers like Blockhead, led me to considering and ultimately buying an Iron 883 as my first bike. The second reason is to dispel the myth that small displacement bikes aren't good for anything but riding around town on or for short distance riding. If you look back, you'll see that the large displacement bikes are really a relatively recent thing. And in other countries, riders need to have a certain amount of experience under their belt before they can even consider larger displacement bikes. There's many different styles, brands, and models to talk about, but since I'm most familiar with Harley, I'll focus on the Sportster line. I can't stand when I hear people call the Sportster a beginner's bike, or a girl's bike, or half a Harley. Considering the fact that it's a higher revving, smaller engine, the 5-speed transmission, and air-cooled to boot, I personally think that taking a Sportster on longer trips takes more than just hopping on a touring bike and calling it a day. People have been riding the Sportster across the country and world for over a half-century now. Do you mean to tell me that those who've ridden a hardtail sporty from coast to coast are any less of a biker than someone who does it on a Glide, Goldwing, or Chieftain? I'd argue the exact opposite. Plus, we are all big about customization and making our bikes our own. What if you don't like the look of a bagger and love the look of a bobber? You can't really pull off the bobber or chopper look on a touring frame. And as I've said in a previous video, some people can't or don't want to handle the weight of a touring bike. That's not a knock on them, that's their personal choice, and I respect them for that. I've also said that the Sportster is the sweet spot for a lot of people in the cost to value proposition. In my humble opinion, it makes no sense to drop over 20 grand or more on a touring bike if you're going to ride it around town or bar hop. Yet plenty of people still do it, and I respect that decision. It's far easier to set up a sporty for some long distance riding than it is to strip down a bagger for just going around town. That isn't to say that there's a right or a wrong way to do things. Each of us will do what we want, and that's one of the things I love about motorcycles. We can all go our own way, and as long as we're happy with it, who cares what anybody else thinks? I always say that the only time someone else's opinion matters is when they're making the payment. Until then, it's all just noise. Back to the Iron. Is it a beginner's bike? Yes. But it's also a bike for someone who's been riding longer than I've been alive. It's also a girl's bike, when a female happens to own it. You need to bring in as much fresh blood as possible into motorcycling, and turning people away or leaving them with a bad taste in their mouth just because of what they chose to ride isn't the way. I'd much rather see someone tearing up twisties on a bone stock Grom than lose them as a rider altogether. I mean, if we want to get down to it, most sport bikes can run circles around any cruiser or touring model. But I wouldn't be caught dead trying to take them on a ride for more than a half an hour, and I certainly wouldn't want to try to ride one on a long distance trip. It doesn't mean it can't be done, I just know that I can't do it. If we really want to be honest about things, a Sportster or similar small displacement cruiser or a Ninja 400 is more than enough for the streets or super slab as long as we're obeying the speed limit. Anything over that is just gravy, and that's why we all ride what we want to. I've seen some amazing things done with Sportsters and other small displacement bikes. All the choppers I've ever seen have been exclusively small displacement bikes, and Sporty has a heritage and culture built up around it that few other bikes can claim. As it sits right now, we're heading towards an all-electric future. California has stated that they want all vehicles to be electric by 2035. That's not that far away. While I welcome what innovations will undoubtedly come from manufacturers as battery capacity and charging technology gets better, I want to have the choice as long as I can. As it is, I think we've seen the end of the Sportster as we know it, with the Moco needing to use the Revolution Max engine in order to meet European standards next year. Heck, just a few years ago when the Milwaukee 8 was released, many decried it for not being a really Harley engine because it was not air-cooled. I respect everyone's right to ride what they like, but I don't think people should be given a hard time just because they like something you don't. Everyone starts somewhere. Some people stay there. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing saying that you have to move up in displacement, weight, or cargo capacity. If I'm completely frank with you, my 2019 Iron 83 is more difficult to ride than my 2020 Lowrider S is. The higher center of gravity because of the tank placement, the 5 versus 6 speed gearbox, and lighter weight, particularly at highway speeds, made for a bike that was fun to ride but ultimately one I never truly bonded. I'm sure that had I spent money on aftermarket parts, I could have made it more to my liking, but when all was said and done, I was in Softail money by then, and just decided to upgrade. I will own another Iron again someday, you can count on that. If you take away one thing from this video, let it be this: it doesn't matter what you ride. If you're riding, you're one of us, and you're part of the family, no matter what some others might think. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. I'm still in shock that I've hit 50 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you. I never expected anyone to watch, let alone subscribe to my channel. It means the world to me, and I will continue to keep working hard to come up with better content. I've got a goal to hit 100 subs by the end of the year. It might be pie in the sky type stuff, but it's my goal. So, it's time for another Odin Manufacturing Street MX Gloves giveaway. To be entered, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, have your subscriptions public so that I can see that you're subscribed, like this video, and leave a comment below with the colorway and size that you want. Feel free to let me know what you think about people riding long distances on smaller displacement bikes as well. I'm interested in hearing what you think. I'll randomly pick a winner next week, order the gloves, and have Odin ship them directly to the winner. As always, stay shiny side up. Throttle Fiend out.